I'm your host, Jason Tartick, and welcome to Trading Secrets. We talk all things money on this podcast, and we're teaching all this stuff we just weren't taught in the classroom. Nothing supports this show more than liking, commenting, and of course, subscribing. Welcome back to another episode of Trading Secrets. Today, we are joined by one of the most successful independent DJ duos in the world, two friends. Matt Halper and Eli Soanes built their brand before college to house parties into a global touring act. From their viral big booty mixes, I know you guys at home know all about those, to sold out tours, major festival stages, they've turned remixes and mashups into a scalable business. But behind the music, there's something even more interesting. They've built a highly profitable independent operation in an industry that's totally dominated by labels. It's nothing like we've seen on the podcast yet. Matt and Eli, welcome to Trading Secrets.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
To be here. Yeah, obviously there's a lot of business talk, but last time I saw you guys, you were taking the Crown Championship at Art Basel at the Celsius Padel Tournament. Who'd you guys beat in the finals?
It was us versus Dwight Howard and Diplo.
When you guys won that, do you win any money for that or no?
It was for charity. We got to do a nice
5K to have cancer. Yeah.
Okay, I love it. Yeah. That's good stuff. You're getting paid by Celsius to be there. Do you have a partnership with Celsius?
We did. Yeah. At the time, it was part of like a big year-long thing where there was a bunch of different, fun shows and pop-ups and events.
Yeah, it's fun when we brands and Celsius is great, and it's fun when like brands are like collaborative and try to lean into what you do. So like obviously for us, whether it's DJing, interesting, unique events, like we've done like workout classes with them, which has been cool.
Yeah,
that's how we met. Who was actually I think. We defeated him in it.
And he was good.
He was good, Tyler Cameron.
Yes, good boy. Yeah,
he was good in the tournament. But like stuff like that, where he's like leading the class and we're DJing. So it's cool when brands kind of try to like lean into something that actually works rather than a million artificial things that don't really feel like it's anyone's getting it, especially their audience is getting anything out of it.
For sure. I feel like what you guys have done is like built this spider web. And whether it's DJing workout classes with massive brands, or it's national tours, or it's partnering with artists, creating your own music, DJing from colleges to massive venues like you're going to Atlantic City and Palm Tree, you guys have, it feels like you've been able to create revenue streams in like a multitude of categories. Is that accurate?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's funny looking back when you first rewind to 2011, it all started just, hey, we like music. We kind of had a different complementary skill set each. And we're like, all right, we're hanging out. We're best friends in middle school and high school. We're hanging out all the time. Let's mess around with some music production software. That early on, you're not thinking big picture, all these other avenues you're going to get involved with. You're kind of just like, let's mess around and have some fun making music. But then I think what was fun and exciting is you kind of quickly learn how like entrepreneurial the whole business is.
Not just making music.
Some of it definitely is overwhelming, and there's a lot of times where we're like, oh my God, I want to turn my phone off. I just want to drown out the noise and finally be able to work on music. Because some days it's like, am I still a musician?
Yeah, there's so many moving parts to
the flip side is it's fun. It's exciting. It's like you're kind of controlling your own destiny in a lot of ways.
I love it. We'll get into the weeds of the specifics today. Yeah. I do want to start a little bit back in time before it started. Before I go there, just because we're on this topic of conversation, it feels like in the DJ space, you got to have your skill set, but it's a lot of marketing. It's a lot of branding. And someone asked me the otother day about DJ Pauly D. They're like, how's he doing? I'm like, I've read articles. I've talked to some people that know him. He's killing it. Like what I've seen things about what he might get paid per set, 50K plus, and that's moving in the plus direction per set. Someone like DJ Pauly D, I mean, am I wrong in saying, sure, he's good at what he does, but he has a following, he has a community, he has a brand. Let's put him on that platform that's hot right now, and let's build a business around that. Is that accurate?
We've never met him, but you got to respect the hustle. Like,
hell yeah, he's killing it.
He parlayed a moment into a career. He's still extremely relevant in the DJ world, at least. And I don't even know how long ago Jersey Shore hit.
15 years.
Yeah, whatever it was. So respect to him, and there's a lot of people these days that you get like a moment or something and it's so stressful. You got to figure out how to make it into a career because it goes quick. But yeah, for someone like him, he probably had the technical side down and he knew what he was doing, but yeah, then it's all brand. He is a brand. His face is a brand. Like that's his logo half the time, you know? That's a hard thing to do.
But I think that's a good transition as far as like that was his platform, right? Reality TV show had some skill set, brought it to the main stage, brought it to Vegas and everywhere else. You guys, buddies in middle school, high school, you're into this DJ thing, you're into making music. What'd you study in school? When you went to Vanderbilt, Eli, what'd you study?
I majored in human and organizational development.
Okay, what did you expect your career to be after school?
If it wasn't going to be music, hopefully it would have been some other like semi-entrepreneurial, startup-y type thing, because that was definitely interesting to me.
What'd you study, Matt?
Product design.
Okay.
So it was like creative and a little engineering, but like honestly, I think what for me was good was obviously meeting friends, network and stuff. It's just like pushing you to do stuff you don't know how to do, learn things. Because like in the end, for all of this and so many other creative things, most of the time, no one's teaching you anything. You're just like jumping in, figuring it out. And then every year that changes what that means. Like back then it was YouTube tutorials or like really trying to like listen and experiment, trial and error. Now with like ChatGPT can tell you how to make a sound. Like you literally say, how do I make this sound? And they try their best, you know?
It's changed so
It's
much,
crazy,
right?
so-
But also when you guys graduate, right? And the idea of being, or you're in college, let's call it, the idea of being a DJ is not what it is today, right? It's very prevalent today.
Yeah.
The market is huge. It's moving and growing, right? Depending on like the way people are consuming alcohol and AI's factor. So we'll talk about that. But back then, when you went and told mom, dad, brother, sister, cousin, I'm going to go do this DJ thing, they had to look at you like you had four heads. Did they not?
Luckily, it was like right when this stuff was just becoming mainstream. So like our friends like knew a couple DJs, but like if we did it 3 years earlier, everyone would be like, I literally don't know what you're talking about.
I have no idea.
Yeah.
But you guys did it. When did you start to see like money come into what you were producing?
When we graduated college in 2015, we went right into it. Like we never really had other jobs. And even then, we were definitely not making money. In fact, we were probably losing money.
for sure.
But I think what was pushing us was like the trajectory felt good. So even if we were not making much, it was still growing.
What was growing?
People listening online, the amount of emails we'd get asking us to perform shows, even if the budgets were low, the amount of managers that were asking us if we had representation. So
It's
there's
almost like a feeling, you know what I mean?
And we never really put like a firm deadline or anything, but we kind of were like, all right, we're trying this after college 100%. This is what we're excited about, passionate about, and we need to like give this a real try. In my head, I would say maybe it was like if 2 or 3 years went by and it was really like nothing changed, we may have had a talk of
That would
like,
have been sad.
How long were you guys operating in a loss?
so it was about like a year and a half after graduating was when we're like, all right, we're like making some money.
Probably
and
still at a loss. Or not at a loss, but like
No,
break
not enough.
even.
We still lived at home.
What were your
but
expenses though?
I would say our expenses actually were not that high. It was more that
You just
we
weren't-
weren't
the income
making that.
wasn't
Yeah, we
coming
would
in,
do a
yeah.
lot. We would say yes to pretty much every show.
And at that time, what were you getting paid per show?
1,500 to 3,000
Like
probably.
we would try to like not lose money on the flights and everything.
But sometimes that
Right, because when you in the DJ game, right,
Yeah.
when they give you that $3K or $1,500, that's gross. You have to pay everything.
Sometimes-
right?
And
Man,
every
they'll
show's
give you-
different,
yeah.
but those, I would say traditionally, yeah, you're like paying for flights, hotels often.
I'm seeing millions of monthly listeners, 2+ million followers altogether, touring all over, working with big artists. If I had your manager in here right now, I'm like, all right, you're pitching him at $1,500 now. What are you pitching him at now? What would he say?
Right.
prices these days, it's hard to answer, and we're not trying to dodge the question, but it really like varies so much. We'll have a buddy, someone will hit us up and be like, hey, I know some blah, blah, blah wants to book you. What should I tell them? And it's like, we can't even answer because it just really, really is a case-by-case basis. There are some shows still to this day that will do pretty much at break even or even lose because it's like we want this new experience that we were never
By
going
the
to
way,
get.
that could be like the highest offer we're getting, and it's just we need to bring so much production, but it's such a big look. Like you have to do it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like we did Lala last summer. We brought 60 crew people because we had a drone show and building all this stuff, and it's just like
We probably, for that show all in, we probably spent close to $500,000.
Let's just say you're paid $500,000 on that. You guys are thinking, we got to spend $500,000 to make this just epic, right? And you're thinking content and you're thinking experience. Is that accurate that you might break even at that or even lose
Yeah,
money
and
knowing you're investing into it?
In general, yes. Like we look at each year, we kind of need to pick some of the highlight moments where we're like, okay, obviously we can't lose money every show or break even on every show. Otherwise, you never make any money.
Or
But
someone's not getting paid.
yeah,
or whatever.
but we're like, all right, and so sometimes that's one specific show or festival. Sometimes that means it's a whole tour where you're gone for 8 weeks on a bus. And overall, that's kind of like your highlight tape that sets the tone. And this is a lesson that our agent, we give him a lot of credit to this day because it was 2017, just a couple years into it, where he sat us down and he was like, look, guys, there's a lot of your peers that, you could get booked at the clubs. You can get booked at, basically they call it soft ticket events, where you're going to go to a place where people are probably already going to these type of clubs. It's a nightclub. People are going out. They're having fun. They don't necessarily care who the DJ is. It might help, certain nights do better than others, but versus the other route, more of like a hard ticket route, means you're going into these empty rooms that are basically traditional concert venues. No one's just going to this venue without checking who they're buying a ticket. So they're not just going to like be there. They need to buy a ticket for 2 friends. And he was telling us, he's like, look, that's the 2 paths. One is it's a little easier. You kind of just show up, plug in your USB, get your paycheck, but it's really hard to grow that way. You really need to do something special or different to like stand out that way versus this other path is more expensive. You're going to not make as much in those specific shows, but what that does is it allows you to grow. And yes, you don't make any money here, but now all of a sudden that same club, instead of offering you the same exact price to come back, you just doubled it because you said, hey, nope, you can't, I'm not charging that anymore because I just sold 500 tickets.
Yeah.
Sure.
And now if you do book me for your club, you could charge higher ticket prices or it's going to sell out faster. People are going to buy more tables.
Whatever it is.
And not funny, but just like the thing about his speech was like, it worked. We started in LA and there's a venue on the Sunset Strip called the Roxy.
Okay.
And it's 500 people capacity. And we're from LA. We were living there still. We have friends and families. Like, guys, Roxy, 500 people. What do we think? Do you think, blast it to all your friends and family, market it online? Like, do we think we could sell 500 tickets? And we're like,
I don't know.
I hope so. We'll try our best. And luckily we did. We sold it out. And then all of a sudden, there's an offer for a size up. It's 800 people now in LA. And then it's 1,200. And then all of a sudden, year by year, we're like, oh my God, we just did the Kia Forum in LA. And you kind of take that mindset for a lot of different cities around the US. And it's just like, it works.
Money is clearly not the motivator here. It's building longevity and brand, which you guys have done extremely well. When was that first moment, though, that you got a call from your manager and like, wait, how much? Like, when was that first moment that you're like, shit? Like, yeah, I get it that for the Roxy, we're selling out 500, that 800. But when was that one, like, holy shit moment?
For Atlantic City and Florida, there was like a club that had spots in both. Yeah. And it was like an 8-show thing. And it was just like, I remember he sent it. It was like late at night. I'm like, oh my God. First of all, the offer was like, for that time, high. And then also it was like a lot of shows at once. I'm like, wow, good work. The offer before was like, literally half of it, and this was like 8 shows and like double, and we're like, wow.
Give me an idea of what that is.
I don't even know.
Probably, what, 40?
I don't know, yeah.
Okay, or
somewhere around there.
The reason I ask is like, let's just say it's 40 times 8, and you do the math, right? People listen at this, right? This was a hobby. You decided to take it seriously. And within a 2-3 year time period of going all in, you're getting, a nice 6-figure deal. And I think whether it's DJing or whatever it is, someone could listen to this and maybe it's that wake-up call. Maybe it's like whatever it is that you really are passionate about, you really dive in. The reason I ask those money questions because I think it serves as motivation and inspiration for those that like, go fucking do it.
Yeah. Everything is in perspective because do you remember we did a boarding school show? Well, we were still in college and we got booked to do a high school boarding school end of year party.
Yes.
And I'll never forget the fee was $3,000.
Okay.
And at the time, that was like, oh my God, $3,000 for us to go like DJ at a party where they're gonna take care of us, take us out to dinner, and we get paid $3,000. That was like, I can't believe someone is gonna pay $3,000 whole dollars for this party.
Then by the end, like of the flights and everything, you probably break even anyway. But just the concept.
It's just the concept.
Because what I was used to hearing was like stories from my older brother where it's like, a bar would pay him $50 and a
50,
case of beer
$100 and a shot. Yeah.
And it's like, wait, like this is like money.
You don't forget those deals, right? Now, when I think about your branding, I think obviously Big Booty Mix is a big part of that, right? But the question I have before we get into branding is with the Big Booty Mix, that's where you guys start. Everyone here listening has heard your Big Booty Mixes, whether you know it or not, you have. How do you actually make money off that? And are there any licensing issues, right? Because in that, what you're doing is essentially taking music that currently exists, you're mashing it up to make it more entertaining and fun. Do you have to deal with like paying people out using them? How did that work?
The short answer is we have never made $1 from Big Booty Mixes.
Yeah.
That they have been a vehicle to then, hey, come see us at a show. Hey, buy our merch. Hey, buy into the Two Friends world.
That's almost like a good metaphor for like spend money to make money type thing. Spend effort to like, it builds another avenue. Like, I mean, a good direct avenue is like we have these like Big Booty Land shows, which are the premiere of the mixes, and like those ones are, some of our biggest shows every year. Like we do one or two now, more like one, just because it's too hard to do. Yeah. But like we'll put so much time, effort, massive show, massive production, and like go all out to build something in person around something like a mix. But yeah, music tech is going crazy right now. Like there's this new startup every day, and it's hard to see like what's sustainable. But like things like Apple Music, like they are trying to figure that out, where it's like the licensing of a DJ mix. If people listen, if there's 50 artists, like will they split up the royalties? 50
and that's what we want. We
want that.
All we want is for our mixes to live online easily everywhere, and not get taken down sometimes. And so, but like we're like pay everyone, but we don't. It's too complicated legally for us to be the ones doing it. So we're kind of just like.
But it is a layup for the music industry to make more money.
Sure, we're kind of waiting for the day when they're like, okay, anything goes, everyone will get.
Just rip it. Your creative genius is saying, we're going to see the masters, and then we're going to put these brilliant masters together like no one else can do. And that's going to be part of the brand. That's going to be part of the hook. And then when you're buying a ticket to see Two Friends, and you're going to the club, or you're buying a table, or whatever the experience it is, it's based on the branding experience, not the fact. I mean, you guys write your own music, but it feels like it's more of an experience brand 100%. Than it is like an actual Taylor Swift fan who's going to consume her lyrics and sit there and like connect with it. Is that accurate?
The DJ world in general leans live. You know what I mean? It's like, because that is what DJing is. A lot of time it's playing other people's music. So obviously we're playing our own. We're playing pieces of Big Booty Mixes. We're playing our originals. We're playing remixes. But like in general, you are building a story, but your story is like the experience. You know, like that could be, I don't know, a night out at a club that you'll never forget. That was, great set, great energy, whatever. Or it could be the biggest show in the world where you have every production trick in the bag, and it's just like a concert.
Let's pause there. This is a softball and a nice little promotional pitch. Anyone listening here that hasn't been to one of your shows, what is the experience, the things that people can expect if they do come to one of your shows that they won't get anywhere else?
I'm going to flip the question and do the opposite, because this is a funny thing that our tour manager said the other day.
Okay.
He said, if you come to a Two Friends show and you don't like it, then you're just an asshole.
Wow, I love that.
The reason he said that is like,
that's a great sales move right there. that right there made me be like, I'm about 5 tickets. I gotta
go. I think we are. It's hard to answer because it really has become kind of just this like amalgamation of so many things. Where you're going to hear some of our original music. You're going to hear parts of the Big Booty Mixes. You're going to hear our saxophonist that we tour with. He's going to come out and just crush it on sax. We're gonna, some of our bigger shows, we'll bring out the drummers, we'll bring out live singers, we'll have the special effects and the production value. You're gonna hear sing-alongs that are nostalgic from when you were growing up. You're gonna,
new stuff,
you're gonna high energy. You're gonna dance. You're gonna sweat.
You're gonna cry.
Yeah,
it's beautiful.
So I think, in a lot of ways, it's it goes back to it's an experience.
I would say we're pretty damn tactical with it,
like interactive.
Yeah. What's the big, like, of all the memories you've had of being tactful and being strategic and bringing production? Do you have one memory you're like, that was my Grammy moment?
I mean, that's a good question. For tours, we go pretty heavy on like really, it takes months for us. Like we have Google Sheets, every single column's like a new category, and you're trying to fit the perfect thing. You're creating these moments. You're spending hours like editing these songs, making custom transitions, build-ups. A good example is like, we played Coachella a couple of years ago, and like the set time's 45 minutes, but like that's like hard, like really hard to like fit, your best show. And to do that, like I think we ended up, you're making Google Sheets, you're doing math, you're like figuring it out, you're like doing test sets, you're trying things. So it's definitely not just like, well, let's try this, let's try that.
But you use the word moment. I think that's a word we use a lot when we're talking about our show. We literally, I know it's kind of, maybe sounds a little cornier nowadays. It gets a little overused, but we literally, when we plan a show and we're like, okay, we're going on tour. It's going to be a 90-minute show every night. What are the moments of the show? And, we literally we're like, the intro is a moment, then the midpoint, then the end, and then a few sprinkled in. But like.
And what does that mean to you?
It's like, how do you make something? Okay, if we're going to play this song, any DJ can play this song. It exists. How do we?
Well, not always. Obviously, you're making, almost nothing we're playing.
No. Well, that's my point is if we are, okay, like for example, Careless Whisper, the sax,
Yeah.
So like, and I'm saying any DJ can play Careless Whisper, but what can we do? Okay, we have our live saxophonist. We're going to go to silence. The venue's going to get dark. A cone made of lasers is going to create a circle that he appears in with fog, haze coming up. He's going to play that by himself, no music. We're hidden. And then all of a sudden, at a certain point like that we've kind of built up, we're going to hit play and a huge backing beat is going to come in. Flames are going to go in the air and lasers are going to come. And it's like, we can't take full ownership. Obviously, it's not our song, but like that moment we now bring to every show and it's a highlight every night.
You can just tell when, everyone has their cell phone up.
Yeah, you can see it. You can feel it. You know it.
There's some that are more like music-focused moments, but then we also have fun with it. And again, we're like, we don't want to take ourselves so seriously. So we have these other like moments in the middle of a show where they're fun for us, but then they're also hopefully weird enough and memorable enough that if you see
like
it.
At a DJ show, it's like I wouldn't expect
So like,
that.
here's an example. At the end of the show, we say, hey guys, we want to take a picture with you, but we need one person from the crowd who wants to be in this picture. And everyone, me.
Yeah.
And we pick someone. They come on stage and we're like, all right, we didn't tell you something. We're going to send you back to your seat unless you can make this basketball shot blindfolded. And we bring out a mini hoop, give them a ball, and blindfold them.
They're like 20 feet away.
And they're like, I'm not going to make this. I'm like, no, try your best. And when we put on the blindfold, on the screen, it says, go crazy. Like, they're going to miss it. Go crazy.
I love it.
And so they put on the blindfold, they shoot, they airball. Smoke blasters go out. Everyone goes crazy. They start jumping up and down. And we're like, oh my God, like get in the picture. You did it.
Yeah.
And
That's great.
Stuff like that. You try to like stand out from
FaceTime our moms on the screen.
We've done so much
Oh,
stuff.
wow.
Yeah, we've done a lot of fun stuff. But basically, just trying to stand out or like, make it memorable. Take little pieces from other genres that,
That's a good branding trading secret for anyone, no matter what you're doing or how you're doing it. Make it memorable, do it different, and think outside the box. And like the basketball example and the FaceTime example, I know you guys have talked a lot about putting costs into things, which is great. Those things don't cost much, right?
Exactly.
Like sometimes the best creativity hits don't cost much, no matter what you are doing.
So true.
Have you ever had, we've talked a lot about success. A lot of speakers have come on this show and a lot of comedians and actors and even TV personalities or anchors. And I'll be like, I'm curious about the one moment they might remember where they completely flopped. Do you have that memory?
The horse head one.
Well, we'll try to think of a real one, but a metaphor is like not everything works. Like,
of course.
We tried like at the end of
this
one
is
of
a
our
little like trivial, but we had this idea that was kind of similar to the basketball idea, but it was that we were going to do a cap shuffle like you do at a baseball game where like on the screen it hides a ball behind the hats, they shuffle and you have to say where the ball ended up. And somehow we just overcomplicated this idea. We bought a rubber horse head mask.
those like masks.
Yeah.
That was supposed to be so that they couldn't see the screen. Like it was just so bad that like
we tried like the first two shows and I was like,
and our crew was like,
what's trivial about that?
Well, more that it was
that
like
wasn't we were trying to trick the person, but they couldn't get that thing on. This is in front of thousands of people, and it's just like
it just didn't land.
Well, it's like you're like conducting this like magician
like,
trick.
hey,
I'm like,
I
don't know what I'm doing.
Horse head, and they're like, why?
Yeah, it's chaos. But basically,
I think, but more like big picture.
The lesson is pivot when you
pivot. The show goes on.
Yes,
the show goes on.
Okay, now like more legit. I mean, there's been.
I mean, I would say the story of our career has been like there's obviously wins, but there's not like one thing like overnight that you're like, holy shit, like that made it. I almost have felt like that with like the losses too. Like nothing too big, nothing too well. Steady goes. You know what I mean?
I think some of the biggest frustrating ones have been when something just ends up taking so much effort and attention from ourselves and also from the whole team and then it ends up feeling like that was not worth
the squeeze.
How much went into it, even if it was financially and appealing.
We did this awesome show, sick show with Fortnite. This was a couple years ago. Honestly, it was a great experience, and the show was actually like really fun, and we made an amazing trip, and it was in Denmark. But one thing we learned from an experience like that is like it was a huge offer. It was great. Everything was great, and honestly, they were great to work with. But it ended up being what we've seen. It was our team was on meetings for like 3 months every week, and they were texting like there was just a constant drag on one show. Like as in the resources were just getting drained and like no one could focus on other things. And this is just one show and this was months in advance. So it almost felt like things weren't getting done that maybe would move the needle more, you know? And it felt like after that show, we're like, well, what about this? And it's like, we didn't really get the legwork done when we needed to.
Because their efforts are just all deployed.
So
that comes into entrepreneurship, and that's when you have to not be a DJ and you got to be a CEO, right?
CEO would be like, yo, this is taking too much, less resources here.
Yeah.
Focus on this. And it's honestly, that's like something we're like always learning on, especially the last couple of years.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Obviously, the industry shifted with AI, right? We've seen, I think it was a couple of months ago, #1 trending song on Apple was literally an
Crazy.
AI song, which is wild. So I'll talk about that. But another trend we're seeing, especially with Gen Z, is the lack of alcohol consumption because people are drinking less.
Right.
There's studies, they're spending less on clubs. They're not buying tables what they did. Is that impacting your financial success as a duo?
It's hard to say. I mean, it would be
you can't control alcohol
be
consumption, right? So I'm an uncontrollable how that impacts your industry.
Indirect impact, so it almost would be hard for us to know. You know what I mean?
Here's almost an example is like when we play in Vegas, for example, you might think, oh, they booked us on a Friday night during this busy week, it's going to crush. And on the opposite side, oh, they booked us on a Wednesday night on a slow week, it's going to be tough. You never know what's going to happen because all it takes is this one person decides it's their birthday and they're spending $300,000 on crazy magnum-sized bottles. And then all of a sudden, that's like,
it was a great night.
Wow, 2 friends crushed it. And we're like, did we? We just got lucky with this one guy.
a lot of like club owners and promoters and stuff, do they dictate your success based on alcohol spend?
I would say in our deal long term, it probably is relevant. Like, are they making their money or no? Day to day, usually the offers aren't really tied. Maybe there's bonuses, but long term, yeah, for sure. I mean, if people are spending, and there's 2 different sides of it. Like there are the people like maybe people are not drinking as much. Maybe they don't want to spend $25, $30 on a drink in Vegas, whatever it is. On the table side, I don't know. I think tables are still pretty strong, and I think that's actually like really like in Vegas, like where they're really breaking it. They need that because
that pays the bills.
That pays the bills.
That pays the bills.
The
and
GA
makes the
does
money.
not pay
the
the
GA
bills.
is not paying
but
the
that's
bills.
the balance. Is like the GA is like who's giving you
They're
more
giving the energy.
Yes.
Right. And I think there's a true, like if I was a business manager of a DJ, I think there's a true argument to say that person spent $350,000, right? But maybe if they didn't have the vibe, the GA going nuts, the guys or girls that come to their table, they're spending $100, right? 100%. In that scenario. So
100%.
that connects to you.
You need both.
Do you guys get like, do you ask your managers, do they report to you guys like alcohol sales? Is that a thing you'll ask?
For Vegas specifically, because the deal is very centered on like stuff like that.
Yeah. I think we've really
that's so cool to know that.
We're at we just started year 4 at the Wynn Encore, and we're like, I mean, again, it's probably part of just we're interested in this stuff, and we want to always be improving and growing. But
we want everyone to win.
We are very involved. We ask for reports, and not only that, but we ask for we're like, what you tell us, what should we do? We want your club to do well. We both win, so we're like. If you want us to sometimes we'll go later. You know, we're only supposed to go till here, but
Sure.
if you think there's some good people that you want us to keep going later, we're happy to. If you think, oh, we do like a cheers where we say everyone go grab a drink and do that, like little, you know, they're not like hacks, but we're like,
that's
you know,
like
And we don't
it's
know
a
if they
reality.
work. I don't know if they work, honestly.
but we're just like, look, we want it to be that
You're a
like
team
no
player, though.
Yeah, team player.
no leaf is unturned. We're trying, and you know, if we did everything we can, and you're still whatever the finances are not there, there's only
tried our best.
The only thing we can do at that
did,
point is just have a hit single and trust us, we're trying.
You know that we try.
Yeah.
I'm just curious now. Like, what's the craziest amount you've ever seen someone spend on a bottle service, like
Honestly,
a table?
it's hard for us to know the exact amounts, but it is funny. Like we have had people where, you know, like our dude in Vegas, or like, you know, the top promoter liaisons who are like kind of dealing with us. They'll just like whisper in here and be like, "This guy is just buying bottles. Like, just hang out with him, bring him up, bring him up on stage."
Meet and greet.
There was one dude. I don't know what he was spending. I don't remember his name, but I remember it was like 2 years ago. We played for so long. Oh my god!
What is like? Is someone who doesn't know the DJ game so long means what?
Vegas
2 hours?
is usually longer than normal. Like Vegas, at least in our kind of subgenre, but 2 hours is Vegas standard.
Okay.
And we were usually on at 1 a.m. So it's late. So we were usually ending at 3 a.m. But this one was like, all right, it's 2:45. Our tour manager kind of nudges us. He gives us like a phone sign, says like, "Hey, you know, these guys over there are like really spending." Sean, our Vegas guy, says, you know, asks if you can keep going. We're like, "Yeah, sure, no problem, whatever." Like we do 15 more minutes. He does another phone. He's like, "Dude, they just bought like 5 more bottles." and we're like, all right, fine, whatever. Let's just keep going. It ends up being like maybe 3:45 or 3 hours and like 40 minutes, and we're like, I have no music left.
Yeah, you're like, I don't.
But it's like, and then finally the guy starts like not buying as much, and we're like, all right, time to wrap it up.
Wow.
But you know, like we're, you know, you gotta make everyone happy and try to do your thing, and obviously it's fun. It's obviously late too, but
it's so cool to hear some of this stuff. A question if I have for you then on when you're DJing, obviously we're talking about like the alcohol, the impact of the industry and stuff. Do you guys do you ever drink when you're DJing? Like, how do you control that? Because like obviously if you're DJing 4 times a week,
we have a healthy relationship.
Yeah. Some of it also is like nerves. There's a lot of people that, you know, they start as like bedroom producers. They're not really the like life of the party. Okay, we're putting you on this stage and entertain this event for 2 hours. So I think that's how it starts for a lot of people, is like calming their nerves.
It's a shock.
They want to, you know, get a little, maybe not like wasted, but, you know, get
a little buzz. Yeah.
But I think when you get to a point where you don't need that, then all of a sudden you're like,
superhero.
I feel so much better when I.
But we will drink.
Sure.
But like a drink, like one drink.
Sure, you have a couple drinks or whatever,
and plenty of shows where it's 0.
Yeah.
And then plenty of shows
unlike
where
our
it's
bus
like
tours where it's like 5 a week. Like you just can't drink.
There's just no way.
Do it.
Yeah, there's just no way.
And we like in our like normal lives, we go to bed early, we wake up early, we want to like work out.
Yeah, we got it. It's hard to have a real life.
So,
I mean, I think to answer your question with like exactly like, I think we just each had a couple experiences where like, I cannot do this again.
Yeah,
it's like, you know, you have a show Friday, Saturday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And like Friday night, like, you know, you drink and then you have a 6 a.m. flight. It's like, I am so hungover.
Yeah.
This is the worst feeling
Ever.
existing ever. Like ever. Like, how am I supposed to go through this airport hungover, get on the flight, go get in an Uber, go to the hotel, do all this stuff, and then go play a show? It's like, no. Like eventually it'll fail. So, you know,
you see, there's a lot of peers that burn out because of
the
that.
booze,
or stop drinking completely.
Yeah, I feel like you got to do one or the other.
yeah.
One follow-up question on the Win. I was thinking about the Win. You do a residency. You don't have those expenses, right? Because they have the club, they have the production. So then how do those deals get structured?
Those are kind of the shows where it's like, you know, you're still bringing a show. Like you gotta like bring your A game, but at the same time, there's not the same overhead. So, you know, you don't have to bring a lot of people. We have a few people. We bring our saxophonist, our tour manager, and our videographer, compared to something where you have to bring like 20 people or whatever it is. So those are the ones where you can end up making money.
When you say 4 years, are those renewed or do they sign you for 4 years?
No. Every deal is different, but we've been doing single deals. Single
deals. Okay.
Yeah.
Who would you say is your biggest competition?
It's almost like, in a weird way, this is not a cop-out, but it's almost like other forms of entertainment are the competition. Like in Vegas, it's like yes, you could choose another DJ, but it's also like, are you going to the clubs at all, or are you going to the magic show and then going to bed? So like, we don't really ever think of like that artist. Well, we want him to quit. And then, because I think it's more like
you're up against different people at different hotels every night. Like you're never gonna hit the same.
It's
person.
surprisingly like supportive in the sense that like when other DJs do well, that's good for like the whole scene. We
for
want
the most part, I think like
that makes sense. Yeah. There are some. So I own a talent agency, and what we'll do is a lot of digital sponsored deals for creators, celebrities, etc. And their goal amongst the agents right now is they're trying to get $1 million deal for one post. That's and they're getting pretty close. They're getting up there with the talent that they work with. What is your like $1 million per post? What's your financial? You're like, I want to get paid this percent or this amount a year. Like, what's the money connected to your finance dream right now?
The live touring side has been such a majority of our revenue that the goal, and again, it's like, you can't always control this, a little bit of luck, a little bit of timing, and obviously, we're going to do our best. But like, if you get on the original music side, if you get the hit and the follow-up hit and the follow-up hit, all of a sudden, that side of your business can really, really come into play and also be self-perpetuating because you're getting royalties on it for the rest of your life. So whereas music has been, some of our songs have done very well, but like it's kind of just been part of the toolbox again, goes into
the live show.
Come to a show,
come buy tickets.
You like our songs, you like Two Friends, come to a show. The deals we're getting are not like massive.
On the music
music side.
So
we are spending a lot of money ourselves. Like right now, we don't have a label, so it's like we're like, all right, we want to do a music video. We don't have to, but we want to because it's going to help the song. Okay, who's paying for that? We are. We want to do a radio campaign. Who's paying for that? We are. We don't have to, but like we're trying to make
a little metal, spend money to make money type
so I
thing.
think one day when it's like the offer is too good to refuse, and they will cover all of that, it would be nice.
But then looking long term, like, and you see in the news, like these like iconic artists, old and new, like are selling catalogs. Like you want to be in a position to be able to do that and have a catalog worth selling. And in the DJ world, it's happened. It's definitely happening, especially like Calvin, Calvin Harris, Deadmau5 just did a huge one with his label.
How much did he sell it for?
Well, it's not his music only. It was hundreds. It's his whole label from like 20 years, so like 100. But it was like 50 million. It's crazy. And it would be awesome to have that revenue stream because at some point you stop touring. You know what I mean? Or you tour less.
Because the revenue stream from the music has come from originals.
That stream just doesn't really stop. You know what I mean?
It just keeps
touring
going.
is extremely you can't scale it. You are doing exactly. You got to be there.
Yeah.
That side is A, more scalable, and then B, forever in a way.
It almost feels like if you take a few months off and you don't do shows, like how quickly does it just fall apart?
I know.
Everyone feels
and
that.
I think anyone on social media that has a brand connected to digital feels like that.
And so you almost you want to feel like you cross that threshold where you're such almost like a legacy act where even if you went a couple of years without releasing a song, you're still selling tickets because people know your name so well that you don't need to be so hot and current,
right?
And keeping up with all
I mean, back then there was not as many acts that really pop. Like Rolling Stones, they don't have to release a song.
No,
what I mean? They're good.
Exactly.
We'll see where that now there's billions of artists, not billions, but hundreds of millions.
100%.
But I think this is just such a random example, but from when I was in college, like a guy like Afrojack. If I asked my friends, you want to go see Afrojack at this festival? It's like they probably couldn't name a single song, but they were like, "Oh yeah, Afrojack, he's great." Like, of course. And it's like, again, that kind of goes into the brand and each art. You having your thing that's
that lives on.
Yeah.
With your originals, you make hundreds of thousands, you make tens of thousands. How much do you make off originals?
It's a great question. I mean, it's definitely
because it doesn't sound like it's a big part of your business. It sounds like it's a piece of the brand, but it's not a big piece of the revenue.
It's not nothing.
It's
at
not
all.
insignificant.
It's not insignificant, but I would say if the avenues are and these are guesses, I actually don't know, but merch, touring, music,
brand deals,
I would say touring and brand is at 90. probably.
Yeah,
100%.
which makes sense.
Yeah.
And then those other areas
Fill out the
create,
rest.
and those it's
Yeah.
kind of like the gasoline to those
Yeah.
engines, right?
Yeah.
It gets you the new show, it gets you the new content, gets you the brand deal.
You can't do the other without no music. You know what I mean? So
And then you can go to a show and you can go to brands and pitch, this is how many people will be here, this is how many eyeballs, plus we'll have a social, you can be the headline sponsor of that,
Exactly.
right? And I got to imagine that is actually will bring in more revenue than sometimes even the fee to be there.
100%.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's
like,
the power of digital with your branding, which is brilliant. And I think that's what you guys have done so different, right?
We're learning on the job. It feels like every day the world changes. Like it's not like when we started. So, you know, there's new places to upload your music. There's new social media platforms. There's new trends. And it's like, you know, it's so hard to stay up with it, whether it's learning yourself, hiring the right people. Maybe that's like been the hardest thing for us growing pains the last couple of years is like knowing what to do yourself or like versus being like, you know what, dude, I don't want to do this. I don't know how to do this. Let's get someone who can learn. And that's hard.
Yeah. And
Let's end with this topic because it's one we got to talk about. It's just AI impact on music. What do you I assume that has to be some form of threat to your business? Is it a threat? Is it not a threat? How does it impact the DJ duo Two Friends?
Well, like we were saying, like our world is so much more, like our day-to-day is so much more than just music. Like you're managing a business. So we can talk the music side, but also on the other side, like in a lot of ways, it's made things way more efficient. You know, instead, like I will do things as easy as now, instead of writing a massive list of my thoughts on, you know, whether it's things from merch to notes on a music video to like strategy things that I think people need to be doing, I'll just like put it into Gemini or ChatGPT and be like, please make this a lot clearer. And it's like, you know, stuff like that is actual real productivity savers. And so I think there's obviously great ways to utilize things. On the actual like art side, I think it's on the music side. I mean, people are doing crazy shit already. I think it'll be inevitably a tool, 100%. And people already are using it. And I think in a lot of ways, parts of it are inevitable. But I am interested. I think the next year is going to, if you ask me this in 1 year, I think we'd already like know an answer in a way.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Of like, you know, things are getting so much better so quick that it's exponential. Like you can, you know, I'm getting Instagram ads constantly. It's like, all right, just sing like a bad melody without autotune, like into your phone. It's like the perfect saxophone sounding thing with all like the grace notes and everything. I'm like, damn, you know how long that would have taken me to do that in MIDI, which is like, you know, for a synth, it would have been impossible, actually impossible.
Whoa.
To try to get our saxophonists to do it. Well, we have to go, potentially you have to rent a studio and try to describe it. And that's kind of how we've gone about things most of our career. And we have so many like amazing people that we can rely on. But especially if you're like just starting, it's like, damn, you can't like afford it. So like the barriers to entry are getting lower and lower. And it's almost, I mean, inevitably the skill will switch. Like how coders are, you know, now the best coders they have such a deep knowledge of code, but they also know how to use Claude like perfectly. How to use it to, you know, and I think inevitably music, at least in electronic music, like, I mean, other music too, like people are going to figure out how to use it in a way that complements them rather than takes anything over.
there's going to be a scandal one day where it's like a masked DJ, like a Marshmallow vibe.
Yeah.
Who has hits on the radio and Spotify, and then it's going to come out that there was never even a human. Under
It's just
the
a
mask.
fraud. It was a robot.
It was just an animatronic robot, and the whole thing was no humans involved.
I love it. That's
like
good
that.
stuff. All right. Well, we're going to wrap with your trading secret. Before we wrap with your trading secret, one contract you'll never forget. It could be the lowest amount, the biggest amount. It could just be a cool brand you like. Give me a contract you'll never forget in your career.
So the first Vegas shows we ever did were like 2015, 2016, and it was at the Link Hotel, which doesn't have a real like club in it, especially a day club. It has like the pool, the hotel pool for the guests, and they set up a DJ booth, and that was their version of like a day party, and they booked us for 3 shows. Each were $6,000, so it was $18,000, and at the time those were the days that we were talking about earlier, where it was like, you know, $3,000, so it was double per show. And we were so stoked. We're like, Vegas, baby.
I
They're
love
paying
that.
us double. This is big
We
time.
made it, baby.
And then I remember the guy, the liaison guy, meeting us in the lobby and being like, I'm so excited. We got you guys. Like, we got you at such a steal. I can't believe only $6,000. And we're like, oh my God.
like, shit,
well, it's even better.
I love
We're
it.
like, obviously text our agent. Hey, he said.
Yeah,
he said
get
this.
on it, negotiate better. That's awesome. I love
Yeah.
it. Trading secret. You've given us a lot, but just like kind of a master class to your life. It could be personally, it could be financially, professionally, it could be branding, marketing, it could be something you just live by.
I'll give some examples, but the overall theme is
Better said eloquently.
the overall message is there's no rules. And here are some examples. These don't sound like revolutionary, but early on especially, it came into play where like you're not going to wait around for other people to give you golden opportunities. It just doesn't happen. Maybe some people they're so once in a generation that okay, everyone's knocking on their door. But I think an example is like when we were starting doing shows and we had a college audience. There's no rules. So what we would do is we would copy and paste a message and DM it to, we would look at the colleges in the area. You got Tufts, which is 30 minutes out of the city. You have Harvard, which is in Cambridge. You have BU, you have BC. We go on their Instagram, you search the name of that, plus other Greek letters.
A pi, A phi, sigma chi, blah, blah, blah.
Then, okay, then you want to make them feel special. Sorry if anyone's listening, you got this message and you thought it was only through but you say, hey, we love we were in fraternities. We love having all the fraternity kids out there. We want to hook
specifically. We love having
we love having Sigma News. You guys are awesome. We would love to we'd love to have you at the show. If you think there's enough people, we could try to get a group discount for you. And you, the social chair that's reading this message, we'll hook it up for you. You'll be on our guest list. So that guy now is like, oh, I should take this
He's
seriously.
like, I gotta do it.
Like
backstage.
And then you do all the frats.
smart.
Then you're like, you know what? Let's swim team, lacrosse team, women's softball team. Okay, you're done with that. Now you do music club, pre-law, pre-med.
Yeah.
And then we could be like, I'm pre-med. Why are you messaging me? Like, we love having
We love the
pre-med.
law students jamming out.
Just in case someone gets sick.
And, okay, that may
brilliant.
sound like silly,
sold out your
but
show,
like,
you know?
that ends up. This guy was like, oh yeah, sign us up for 100 tickets. Sign us up for 40 tickets. Sign us up for 350 tickets. I got all my friends to do it. All of a sudden, show is sold out.
And we're like,
and
whoa.
and I think that was an example where it's like maybe now everyone's so smart and they're hacking things, but like for us, it was like no one was like, oh, we have a marketing plan. We are going to attack the college demographic. We're just like, all right, we're doing it.
All right, that's a good one. Yeah, I'd give one, like if my trading secret, anyone's listening, we'll keep this one on. Let's call it my theme of the week is like the way people treat you or the way that you condition them to treat you, and like making sure that as you continue to grow and change, the expectations that you put onto other are being crystally clear.
So good.
And I think like even another one is, especially at the company that I work with, or if I'm even looking at myself to like get feedback on the podcast, or if I'm doing a speaking event, or I'm investing in something, or it's creating content. I think with feedback, it's a very open word used in the business space. You might use it with your managers, right? Or you might go to a venue and be like, guys, give me feedback. I think feedback's only as good as the way that you direct the question to get the feedback, because if you create an open forum, it's going to be too general. And I think like the better questions you can ask to people, like when it comes to feedback, like if I asked you, hey, on this episode, what did you think about, I'm making this up in my questions. Were my questions unique? Were they different? Did you think, like, I want specific feedback. And I think you are the captain of receiving feedback based on the question you ask. So those are my
those are great.
Those are like my
good.
this week trading scene.
I like that. All right, I have a good one. Being able to have the difficult conversations like earlier rather than later, because first of all, a lot of people are thinking the same thing, but like someone just needs to like say it or do it. And I think now, 2 years ago, like 3 years ago, like we kind of just be like, all right, you know what? I don't control that. I do this. But I feel like nowadays we're more like, we kind of being like, this doesn't feel right. Like, let's just say this doesn't feel right or whatever. Let's say it. And we're getting better at it always. But, if someone's doing a great job, tell them. And if someone is not doing a great job, figure out how you're going to like either A, why are they not doing a great job? Is it something I'm doing? Is it something, the environment? Is it a lack of passion or it's a change in the feeling? You know, you got to figure that stuff out. And they're not like fun things to talk about, like especially on the negative side. Like if someone's feels like it could be your team, it could be a collaborator, it could be whatever. It's like, I don't think they're doing a good job. Like that's a hard conversation to have. But I think you're only hurting yourself by not having it.
Something's not feeling right. You don't want it to keep it a secret until it gets to the extreme of,
Like,
okay,
peace.
it's over.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, hey,
100%.
just so you know, blah, blah, blah. Let's try to fix this. We have a few more check-ins now. With the whole team, we do more like goals calls. We do more of like, hey, here's what we're kind of expecting. And we're not trying to be like assholes. We're not trying to be dictators, but like,
Not at all, yeah.
we know how much blood, sweat, and tears and this is 24/7 that like we have certain expectations, and even financially, we know how much certain commissions are, certain salaries are. We're like, let's make sure everyone's feeling good.
Yeah, and I feel like if your gut, well, actually, this is kind of a cool trading secret that connects to exactly what you're saying. You're saying is like when you're feeling it, like you're being proactive with these conversations. You're not sitting and waiting for an event to have. Like you're just like diving in. Like it's like it sounds like you're like I'm the CEO now. Like we're making decisions.
Yeah.
And it also sounds like what you're saying when you're talking about like how you were so worried about the impact that would have on your career. Is that you guys have learned that like it doesn't matter if there's management or someone you hire or someone you fire, no one controls your career but you. Like it sounds
in a lot of ways,
right? And like you control that.
Obviously,
right?
we have a great team and everything now, and you are always tinkering and trying things. But yeah, like in the end, it's you. And it's funny because you're saying like you're so scared to like make this move here and there, and we've had these life experiences now, and we're like. You're still always scared to like, damn, do I hire this person? It's expensive, whatever. But like, I would say now we're at least very aware that like we have to at least have these conversations.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We cannot just put it under the rug and be like, I'm just going to make music on my laptop and assume everything's going to be okay. Because like in the end, it's just going to get either worse or things will boil over in a way where it's not as productive.
It's true. It's like bleeding doesn't stop until you put the stitches in or you put the band
That's
in.
That's what I should have said.
That was good.
That's my secret.
I love it. All right, well, guys, let's wrap with what's going on. Like, where can everyone find everything you have going on? The music, where your next stops.
Yeah.
Talk to us. Where can we find everything?
Yeah. I mean, socially, search Two Friends. You should find us. Two Friends on Instagram. You know what to do.
We know what to do.
The two handsome men in the profile picture. That's us. On the road, we're pretty much on the road every single weekend. twofriendsmusic.com/tour is where you'll see everything. But we got some big stuff coming. We got Red Rock soon. We got Big Booty Land Chicago soon for the premiere of Volume 27. That's probably the biggest show of the year.
Yep.
We got some fun festivals.
We're kind of doing, we have a ton of music coming. Right now we're kind of like in our country era. That's why we're here in Nashville right now. And we've released we're doing this like country project, which is pretty sick. We're really pumped on it. So we've released 2 of the songs. We have like a whole project coming. But we're doing some of these like big boot sets, which are,
Any artists you could tease?
So we just released a bunch of like these like awesome, like, I don't know. We've met like a lot of people lately because we've been doing this, but we just released a song with Jake Banfield, released a song with Chris Lane, both amazing dudes. We have a bunch of stuff we're working on coming up with, who do we got?
Dustin Lynch.
Dustin Lynch. We
We
got
got Jessica Bio. We got Breland. We got Tyler Braden.
like all these like
let's
awesome,
go.
like
Killing it.
I don't know, so many talented people here. It's like pretty
And they're all
sick.
in Nashville, or not all of them, but a lot are in
most of
Nashville.
them are in
Nashville's just
Nashville.
been-
That's why we're here.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah, like I
Country
think,
genre, here we come.
yeah, and then we got a bunch of stuff like this summer. Like we're not only country guys. We're a little bit about
You guys do it all. I feel like you do
we're
it all.
everything.
And where can people find like your when you're selling for whatever, like for your tour or the show, your next show? Where can people find tickets?
best place, twofriendsmusic.com/tour.
Okay.
Do not get the StubHub ad and think there you go. You're just gonna pay triple and there's no reason.
Great plug there. That's a trading secret right
It's always
there.
I mean
Go direct. You're
go
helping
direct.
the artist. You're helping the small
I'm
business
just helping
owners,
you out. You know
and
what
you're
I mean?
helping yourself out, right?
Yeah,
exactly.
no, for real. But we're stoked. We got a lot of cool stuff coming, and then we're kind of planning 2027. It starts
It's
now.
crazy because it feels
go.
like 2026 just started, but we were on phone calls talking about what's the 2027 plan. I'm like, Well, I don't even know what I'm doing next week.
You're like, we gotta do next week.
Yeah.
What am I doing
Well,
for
to think
dinner?
it all started, from middle school,
Crazy.
high school, and college, and now it's been cool to watch. It's been fun to be at your shows. I'll tell you, they're unbelievable. And guys, thank you for being on Trading Secrets.
Dude, thanks for
having
having
us.
us.
Let's go.